Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to my channel. You're tuned into Twinkle's Take, where I'm here to give you my take on the hit Netflix show Love is Blind. This is season 5, episodes 3 and 4 is what I'll be reviewing today. Yeah, they left us on a cliffhanger at the first reveal of the season for the first engaged couple. This is the all-American couple, JP and Taylor. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off that cliff and let y'all know what happened. Okay, so boom. That's how we start off stories, right? Okay, so boom. So the doors open. We have JP on one side, Taylor on the other side. They see each other. They're smiling. But are all smiles good smiles? It could be an awkward smile, nervous smile. I don't know. Y'all tell me. They see each other. They walk in the middle towards each other. They embrace one another. He literally bear hugs her because JP is so much bigger and taller than a little old Taylor. And he bear hugs her, and then he proceeds to give her the most aggressive, painful looking kiss I have ever seen in my life. Like, dude, has nobody ever kissed you in these 30 years of your life and told you, hold on, slow down. It's too hard, too rough. This is not sensual at all. What are you doing? It was the most frustrating thing to watch. And for her, for that to be her husband or husband to be, she was probably thinking, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? I am younger than this man and I'm gonna have to teach him how to kiss, something that simple. But you know what? She is at fault too, because she kept giving him the aggressive kisses back. So he then gets on his knees, reproposes to her. She says yes. So then they go and sit over to the side so that they can take in each other's visual image. They can put the voice to a face and a body, the personality to a face and a body. He must be thinking a lot of things in his head because he's literally saying nothing out loud. He's just smiling and nodding. She's talking and he is smiling and nodding. It is the most awkward situation. And I know that he said in his confessional before he went out there, he's so nervous. He doesn't know what to say when he sees her. Like, he doesn't know how he's going to react. I understand nerves and not knowing what to say, but you got to say something. So I noticed in every moment where he should have said something back to her and he should have responded or just said anything, he would awkwardly kiss her once again, to the point where one of the times he kissed her, she said, ouch. I knew that was a painful kiss. It was insane. Y'all got to go watch it and let me know if y'all was thinking the same thing or am I tripping? So at one point he is staring at her intensely and she says, like, are you looking at my eyelashes? Because, you know, they're not mine. These are fake eyelashes. And he's like, okay. Obviously that's what he was looking at if he reacted that way. And so he wasn't going to say anything, but he's thinking it in his head. Interesting. So, of course, she's noticing too. He's not talking much, but she's chalking it up to maybe it's his nerves. I'm going to let him have it. They decide like, okay, this is great. We've met each other. So, you know, I can't wait until the next step in this process, which we know is Mexico. But they have to go back to their living quarters and we shall see how this turns out. So in her confessional, she did say, you know, I'm so glad that I'm doing this experiment and really proving that love is blind, because JP in the real world, if I saw him out, he wouldn't be my type. I wouldn't necessarily date him. And in the past, his gap in his teeth would have bothered me, but now it doesn't. And I'm so glad that looks don't matter to me and that love is truly blind. Girl. Now, you know that's not true, because the fact that you can still point out those flaws that bother you, they are still bothering you. You're trying to convince the audience and yourself that you're okay with it, but truly you're not. But I commend you for still trying to move forward with this experiment and to move past it, okay? She's trying to look within, not on the outside. We'll see how that goes. So now back to one of our other couples. We have Izzy and Stacy, and we see them on a date. They're not engaged at this point because the only engaged couple was JP and Taylor. So we have Izzy and Stacy, and they're trying to connect with each other emotionally, get a little bit deeper. So they start talking about their insecurities. He reveals to her that his biggest insecurity is that someone won't love him the way that he loves them. And her biggest insecurity is abandonment. So we see that they're starting to dig a little bit deeper. And I think that Izzy is feeling comfortable with that because he really likes her, but now he can emotionally connect with her as well, as opposed to him and Johnie. Last time she emotionally connected with him, it was a bit heavy. So that leads me to the title, Blindsided. Some people may be getting blindsided on this episode. Moving right along into Uche, and Aaliyah. Now, of course, they've gotten over their hump from the recent cheater comment, him making her feel like dirt and her taking him back. I don't understand it, but it ain't my relationship, all right? So now they're talking about weird quirks because they have a lot of high moments, they have low moments, and then they be like deep in the valley with emotions. So of course they gotta water it down from time to time just for us to be able to watch their story. So they start talking about weird quirks. She talks about how she loves Splenda and honey packets, and it's not at the same time. Like, I immediately thought maybe she likes putting like Splenda and honey in her tea. No, she just likes eating them separately. It's a little weird. She also likes playing with the skin that's under your like elbow, that extra hanging skin. He, for some reason, knew that that was called the weenus. That's odd. So maybe y'all are meant for each other, but whatever. Him specifically, he said his weird quirk is that he has this thing about being a little OCD when it comes to aligning objects. Like if an object is crooked, especially a picture frame, then he has to go up and straighten it. And I never wanted to relate to Uche on anything, but that one right there, maybe I'm a little OCD. I can be at times. That don't bother people. Like pictures need to be straight. This needs to be turned this way. This needs to be whatever. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. But they had a lighthearted little date. So it was about time. So then we move over to Milton and Lydia. So of course, she is 100% with him now because she don't have Izzy, and he opened up a little bit more with her about his education and his childhood and all of that. So she's starting to respect him a little bit more, and they're vibing. So then he goes even deeper on this episode, and he tells her, well, for one, his weird quirk is that he's a competitive Pokemon player. I didn't even know people still play Pokemon, but Milton would be the one. Then he digs deeper and lets her know about his biggest trauma in life. And so his biggest trauma actually happened in the 8th grade, I believe. Yes, he started going into organ failure, and it was at school, and he got rushed to the hospital, and apparently it was due to spinal issues that he had no idea that he had to begin with. So that's a little scary, especially for an 8th grader. Anything dealing with your spine is detrimental to it. It can easily be like a life or death situation. Specifically speaking of life or death, he also told Lydia that he knows that he's not going to live long because of his height. He's probably going to leave this world early. And I was very confused when he said that. Are you saying that tall people just don't live long? I've never heard that before. Now, I could be wrong, but it was just really odd. And he said it like very matter of fact, like I know it's going to happen. That's a weird fun fact. But okay, he said statistically speaking, that's how it's going to happen. Okay, Milton, whatever you say. So she says, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm a hard worker. I'll be here to take care of you no matter what. I know your traumas you've been through. If you go through any of that with me, like I'm here. I'm your ride or die. I'm your support system. And I'm like, Lydia, she just want to get chosen. If you choosing, she's in line with her hand raised for the picking. Okay? What you need from me. Moving right along, we go into Izzy and Johnny. So that last date of theirs, remember, he left early. he wasn't really feeling the heavy weight that she put on him with that story about her ex and her one and only true love. And so now he's like, okay, let me have a real heart to heart moment with you. He lets her know, like, look, I have a really strong emotional bond with you, but now I have an even stronger emotional bond with Stacy. And, you kind of hear the hesitancy in his voice, and you know that he's kind of not wanting to move forward because of the last information that she told him about her past relationships. So then she tries to reassure him that picking her would be the right option, because she says, you know what, I understand exactly how you feel, because I had that same connection with Chris as well too, but I didn't pick Chris because Chris would have been a safe choice, and I didn't want safe. I wanted something that was real, because if me and you don't pick each other, we will walk out of here and think about each other for the rest of our lives. I will always think about you, and you will always think about me. So that is why I had to make the better decision. It was a hard decision to make, so I understand you, but you have to hear me out on this. He was not trying to have it. All right. He was just like, you know what? This is a lot. And she said, okay, but we have to have hard conversations. I don't know if you guys have had hard conversations like this, but this is what a real relationship is like. This is what marriage is going to be like. We have to work at this together. At this point, she's low-key pleading for him to not say those next words that she knows is coming. But ultimately, he tells her, like, I have to end this. I'm sorry, because I have been abandoned before by my last fiance, and it just all has to make sense to me. And this doesn't make sense. I can't really fault him. I can't fault him. That would be a hard situation for anybody to be able to look past, especially knowing that he almost went into a marriage before with a woman that obviously didn't want him. And now you're telling him to choose you, even though you willingly married somebody that you didn't love before. I can't really fault Izzy. But he broke it off with her, and Johnie, she felt confused, blindsided, episode title, and she felt dumb. And so now at this point, I know she's thinking about Chris in the back of her mind, because now Johnie is just out here alone and she ain't got chose by nobody. So moving right along into Izzy and Stacy. So at this point, Izzy is excited to go into his date with Stacy. He knows that they've connected well. And low-key, Izzy is kind of a chatterbox. He likes to run back and tell that. He likes to run to Stacy and say what happened, which is very interesting, because Johnie was really excited for her date with Izzy after she broke up with Chris. So now Izzy has broken up with Johnie, and Izzy is running back to Stacy, and he is excited. My. As the world turns, the roles are reversed. It's crazy to watch. So we see Izzy tell Stacy that he broke things off with Johnie and it didn't end well. And what I respect about Stacy is that Stacy said, great, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm staying out of it. Like, you don't have to talk about it any further. I'm just staying out of it. And to me, that showed her age. That showed that she's 33. She respects women, period. It doesn't have to be a cat fight. This is a love experiment, a social experiment. If you're choosing me, then choose me. You don't need to harp on her or worry about her, and we don't need to talk about her. I immediately respected Stacy for that. And I think that she helps as far as the maturity in their relationship to keep things in line and focused on what's most important, which is her relationship with him. So the past is the past. It is what it is. Moving right along. So before their date is over, he does tell her, like, hey, I'm falling in love with you. And she says it's on her mind. Love is on her mind, but she's not about to lie and say that she is in love with him. And I'm thinking, okay, Izzy, you wanted somebody to choose you for you. You wanted somebody to love you the same way you love them. but she's being honest with you. Now, Johnie loved you like that, supposedly, but you kicked her to the curb. So now you're going to have to sit back and wait until Stacy maybe catches up to your amount of love. We shall see. So then we, shockingly enough, go over to Chris, the good guy that got dropped by Johnie, and Johnie is requesting a date with Chris. She wanted to apologize to him and said that she made a mistake and she wants to continue to pursue things. Now, pause. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this. Like, if I was Chris, I don't even know that I would have showed back up. Chris even said himself in the men's living quarters, they were shocked when he walked in the room. And he says, hey, I heard that Johnie wants to talk to me. I don't know if I should feel dumb for going to this date, or I don't know if I should thank Izzy. Poor Chris. I feel for him. And I just don't know if I was his friend, if I would have told him to give her another chance, but we shall see how this date goes. So they're on their date and she admits to him, you know, I think that I am in a pattern of making the same mistakes over and over. I typically choose guys that are emotionally unavailable, and that turned out to be what Izzy was. I should have known with you to move forward with you. You are the safe choice, which is sometimes not that exciting, but I didn't realize that you cared so much for me. Even the fact that you had an emotional reaction when we had broke it off. And so I would really love to pursue things further with you again. So at this point, Chris, he doesn't flip out on her. He's not immature in any type of way, but Chris straight up tells her, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that I'm the safe choice, but it's not exciting. See, that's hard for me because I love you and I care for you tremendously. I 100% want to be with you, but I don't want to be somebody's safe option. I want somebody to be excited to see me or feel excited to be with me. I want somebody to feel 100% about me. I still want you and I care for you, but now this is a bit bothersome and it gives me some pause. So I, at this point, have to think about whether I'm ready for engagement, because before you broke it off with me, I was 100% there. I was sure about you, but you weren't sure about me. And then you made your decision. So now you are coming back and apologizing, saying you made a mistake. But I just don't know if you would have said that if Izzy wouldn't have dropped you, in so many words. So give me a moment to think on it, but I do still love you and care for you, but I got to think about this. And I totally respected that. Once again, Chris is 27. He is younger than both Johnie and Izzy, but he is proving that maturity-wise, he is years beyond them. So kudos to Chris. I already told y'all, that's my pick. He's the good guy. Johnie was tripping, but we shall see. So moving along to Uche, and Aaliyah. They had another start to a cute little date. He wrote her a poem. Now, mind you, in previous episodes, he had said that it had been a long time since he wrote anything, and that's why he was excited for them to get together, because then they could motivate and inspire each other and really get back to that creative side that they have within them. So he writes her a poem and reads it out loud, or I believe she reads it. And it was a nice, cute, little sweet poem. Obviously, he was trying to butter her up for a bomb that he needed to drop. Now, this bomb, it was big. We didn't see it coming. She didn't expect it. Actually, after she read his poem, she specifically says, I just feel so good about us and us leaving here together. I trust you so much, and I'm at peace knowing that you'll be honest with me no matter what. Why she say that, y'all? She opened up the door for the truth to come in and just let have. Yo, Uche took this moment to say, I haven't been completely honest with you. I've dated a girl in the past in here, and it's Lydia. End screen. Boom. Y'all, I totally did not see that coming, like at all. I was stuck. Like, Netflix, now y'all gonna put on an end screen, a black screen? This is a worse cliffhanger than the last one. Are you telling me this man that condemned her to the pits of hell for cheating in her former relationship 2 years ago is just now being honest with her and telling her that he dated a girl in there, and the girl he dated in the past was Lydia, who is friends with Aaliyah? Yeah. Let me go ahead and start it up for episode 4 because the conversation continues. It goes into episode 4 called She's Gone, ... question mark. Now, but who is the she? Okay, so it starts off with Uche. Ooh, child. That's how I have to say his name because the information that he let out was too much. It was heavy. So the conversation is continuing and he's trying to explain it to her. He didn't know she was going to be here. She didn't know that he was going to be there. She is in Lydia. And he explained to Aaliyah that his very first date, on the first day, a girl walks in and starts talking to him, and she says that she knows him. While he's telling the story, we see the flashback. Netflix held the footage, okay? They played the footage, and we see Lydia walk in all excited. She hears his voice, and she said, oh my gosh, who is... I already know who this is. Your name is Uche, middle name and last name. You live here. Your friends is this name. This is your business. This is your car. I know your dog's name. I can't believe you don't know who I am. And he said, I don't know who this is. She said, I am your dog's favorite person. And he said, oh, Lydia. She said, yes. Lydia was so excited. She said, oh my gosh, is this a sign? Is this a sign? Should we just go ahead and continue? And Uche, to his defense, was not excited at all. He did not have a big smile on his face or a huge reaction. He literally says, I don't think so, because that would defeat the purpose of this experiment. We already know what each other looks like. It just wouldn't be fair. So I think that we're good. We should not move forward. Now, back to present day. He is talking to Aaliyah. Aaliyah is emotional. Aaliyah doesn't understand why she has been besties with Lydia. Lydia said nothing, and then Uche said nothing. But Uche is big on being honest. He lets her know they only dated for a few months. They weren't compatible. He was never in love with her. And, it was a thing of the past. He didn't bring it up at first, but now he's telling her. He even says that Lydia is an amazing person and she deserves to be with somebody who is completely sure about her, and he just wasn't. Okay, he's keeping it really nice. Aaliyah has so much of a strong reaction because it feels like she just got hit by a semi-truck, and she literally says, I need to step out to gather myself. She stepped out. She was crying. I'm like, dang, how many times you gonna let this man break you down? And just with words, you ain't even seen this ninja yet. Like, what? Aaliyah doesn't know how to feel, right? So then she goes back into the pod to continue yet another hard conversation with him. He is reassuring her there is nothing, when I tell you nothing between me and Lydia, I just wanted to be honest with you. Honestly, she's a great girl. I didn't want to say something and then ruin her chances with other people in here. She just wasn't for me. But if she gets with somebody, I'm happy for her. Honestly, to be truthful, Milton, I don't really think he's ready for engagement, so she might want to watch out for that. I don't know if you want to tell her. And I'm thinking, pause. Ain't this your ex? Why do you care about her future if she was your past? Why are you concerned about whether the person she's talking to is ready for engagement or not? You're saying you know she wants to be a wife and she deserves somebody good. If you're speaking so highly of her, dude, be with her. That would have bothered me. But Aaliyah is always too calm for my liking. And maybe that's best. But this is an emotional experiment, and I would have been emotional. I'm not going to lie to you. But anyways, he tells her the past doesn't change the way that I feel about you. And somehow he gets hurt in the same mindset of thinking. She said, it doesn't change the way I feel about you. I still love you too, but this is a lot. And I love Lydia like a sister. I'm going to have to talk to her. I just need to talk to her. Now pause. She was disappointed because Uche did not tell her. Yet she did not appear or vocalize that she was disappointed in the fact that Lydia didn't tell her. She actually says that Lydia is like a sister to her. She literally said that when she has kids one day, Lydia will be their aunt. So this is a catch-22 for her. It's a tough situation. I was very confused. You have only known this girl for a few days. These pods that are going on right now, the pod days in there, that's only 10 days. It wasn't even day 10. You're telling me that you've befriended somebody or they've befriended you. And yes, you consoled her, she's consoled you, but ain't no way y'all got a sister relationship at less than 10 days to the point where you know that she's about to be an aunt to your children, your future children. What? And then you're not faulting her. So I guess you're like, okay, well, it's going to be girl power. I'm not going to fault her. I fault you because I'm in a relationship with you. But you said this girl is like your sister. So you should expect just as much out of her. What? Yeah, I was very confused by that, but I'm going to get into that because she is going to talk to her later on and you will see. So let me take a chill pill on that because that got my anxiety all the way through the roof. Let's go on to Izzy and Stacy. So at this point, Izzy must be feeling like he's confident that she's going to say yes because we see them on their date and we see that they're both dressed up really well. Obviously, the producers have said, nudge, nudge, you need to propose, or he may be proposing you should dress up. Totally inauthentic, but whatever. So he goes in there. He's very nervous, talking to her through the wall, and he gets on one knee to propose, and she doesn't immediately say yes. She actually says yes, but after giving a small little speech about how she can't believe that she is at the point now where she is thinking about joining her life with somebody else's life. She would have never imagined that before, and she can't believe she's bringing herself to say this, but the answer is yes. That is a very interesting way to accept a proposal, and if I were Izzy, it would be a bit alarming. Either it's a yes, or an of course, or oh my gosh, or yes, yes, yes. But if you have to give me a short speech about how you can't believe you're about to say this, but the answer is yes, then that would give me some pause. But we shall see how this goes with that couple. So moving right along, we have the women's living quarters, and Stacy comes into the women's living quarters right after she accepted the proposal from Izzy, and she comes in showing off her ring, talking about I'm a fiance. And of course, all the other women in there, they start gushing all over it. Let me see the ring. Oh my gosh, they're surrounding her. This is so exciting. How did he do it? All of the normal questions that come along after you've been proposed to and you say yes. Meanwhile, Johnie is there. Johnny's sitting at the table and she is hating. She's hating hard because, mind you, she wanted Izzy. And now Stacy has him. And Johnny's so salty. You know when people talk and they talk through their teeth? That's exactly what she was doing at the table. She said, happy for you. Wish y'all the best. Girl, you are not happy. You should have just not said nothing. You should have just went in the corner and cried or went to the bathroom or something. Then she is in her confessional and she is crying from devastation at the fact that Stacy is now engaged to Izzy. Then she makes it worse. When she's mad, she's just about to turn on everybody. She says, you know what? I don't even think he's ready for marriage anyway. Izzy already told me in his dates he has bad credit. He just signed a lease somewhere else. And I mean, he's not even ready for engagement at this point. He's not ready for something serious. He has too much going on. So he's going to be miserable with her outside of here, and that's on him. They'll be miserable with each other. I immediately thought, girl, why are you hating so hard? Now you got so much to say about him and his bad credit and him already signing a lease somewhere else and him not being serious about this engagement thing. But wasn't you just wanting him to propose to you with the same bad credit and lease signed somewhere else? I'm confused. Make it make sense, Johnny. And if you're focused on Chris, just focus on Chris. Whatever. I did not like that about Johnny. Johnny she rubbed me the wrong way with that hate and stuff. I don't like it. Anyways, then we go to Chris and Johnny. Moment of truth. Mind you, their last conversation, she said she wanted to continue to pursue things with him. She apologized to him. She put the ball in his court. She told him that he was a safe choice, which wasn't that exciting, but it was the choice that she needed, and she should not have taken him for granted. She goes into this date with him saying the same thing once again and reiterating the fact that she feels horrible and that she should have known it was him the whole time, and she feels terrible for taking him for granted. She really wants this to work with them. And she starts explaining what their life would look like together. She's really trying to spruce this up. Now, y'all know that Chris, that's my guy. I like him. Chris, for one, mature, he accepted her apology because that needed to be acknowledged. Yes, I heard you apologize. You needed to apologize, but I'm accepting it. Now, he specifically says he's a little worried. So he's going to do something different. He's going to be selfish and he's going to choose himself because he wants to choose someone who always chooses him. Meaning, I can't choose you, Johnny, because you didn't always choose me. But I'm going to always bet on me. And so I'm sorry, I cannot move forward with any type of engagement, but that is my truth and I have to choose me. And she was left stuck. But what can you expect? I was so happy that he did that because I'm sure in the back of his mind, he was thinking, okay, we can get engaged, whoop-de-woo. And then we see each other. What if she don't like the way that I look? Then we go to Mexico and she knows that's an opportunity for her to see Izzy because at this point, Izzy and Stacy are engaged. So they would be another engaged couple. I'm not trying to put myself through that type of emotional roller coaster where she sees him and she realizes that, she's still in love and she tries to get back with him. She put me on the back burner once. I'm not going to put myself through that again. So I totally respected Chris for that in this moment. And I was kudos to him. Bravo. I was clapping for him. So looks like you got egg on your face, Johnny. And she was left crying again. Anywho, moving right along, we go to the women's living quarters. Now back to the drama, the mess, the mayhem continues. We see Lydia and Aaliyah on the couch. Aaliyah leans into Lydia and says, he told me. Lydia's response was, you know? Then in the most cringeworthy moment, they lean into each other and they cry and hug each other and tell each other they love each other so much. And I was so freaking confused. Some women probably look at that as like a girl power moment, or they're just so mature and they can embrace each other. I can't do that because now I'm questioning your motives. Lydia, you knew from day one that Uche was here. You knew that Uche was the one that I was dating. You consoled me when I cried over him. Did you purposely try to become my friend? You didn't write me a letter. You didn't try to sneak and tell me. No, nothing. I found out from him, but I'm by you in here all the time too. So if I feel betrayed by him, I feel betrayed by you too. There's no embracing and hugging each other and I love you so much. Like, no, now I'm trying to question your motives as to why you even befriended me in the first place. Why would you want to be friends with somebody who you were still interested in your ex? Based on the flashback, Lydia wanted to continue things with him. Now she lies to Aaliyah in this moment and tells her, hey, he wanted to move forward with me. And I told him, no, we're not moving forward. I'm over him. I have no feelings for him. You know, when I was with him, I did fall for him. I understand how you could fall for him, but that's not the case anymore. And so Aaliyah is getting all this information and just the wheels are turning in her head because it's a lot for her to take in because she didn't know a lot of details from Uche. Uche didn't say much of anything except I dated a girl here in the past. He didn't give a lot of details, but Lydia is giving more details. Mind you, Aaliyah hasn't seen a flashback of this, so she doesn't know how it actually went down. So Aaliyah is just like, man, like you fell for him when you were with him. She was like, I did, but you know, I don't feel that way anymore. I think we're very similar. I think it's very interesting that he chose basically the same girl over and over. Don't you think that's crazy? Now, don't you see why when I was consoling you, I told you, man, I can relate. I feel like we're the same person. I understand you so much. And that's when Aaliyah starts kind of looking at her out the side of her eye, like, okay, girl, but why didn't you start off that way? You started off thinking she was innocent. You felt blindsided and betrayed by Uche, but you should have felt the same way about her instead of embracing her and hugging on the couch. Now you should feel stupid, whatever. So then Lydia makes it 10 times worse. And Lydia says, you know, I really fell for him when I was with him, but I don't want him anymore. But, you know, he has a particular way of breathing. Like when I walked into the pods on the first day, I knew it was him the moment I walked in because I could hear him breathe. I know the way he breathes. I'm thinking, girl, oh, you was stuck. Like you was love struck if you know his breathing. So then Aaliyah says, you know what? I don't really want to know much else about him. I want to find that out on my own. Like this is a tricky situation, but you know, I guess we'll figure it out because I love you as my sister. She said, oh yeah, we'll definitely figure it out. I mean, I understand if that's going to be your husband. I'm going to look at him as your husband and that is all, nothing more. In about 3 years, we will feel like this will all be funny. I'm thinking 3 years. Then Lydia says, oh, but there is something I have to tell you, though. So you're going to love his friends. Oh, he has a beautiful house. Oh, did he tell you he has a Tesla? He owns his home business. His dog's name is Kobe. Oh, my gosh, the dog loves me. I bought the dog the best Christmas gift ever. He even asked me about it. The dog pees every time he sees me because he loves me so much. And just have to let you know that we did hook up. We smashed about 3 months ago in January. So, yeah. But since then, it ain't been nothing. But yeah, all of that. I know his favorite drink. I know all of his friends. And at this point, Lydia is not even paying attention. She is not looking at Aaliyah's reaction because Aaliyah is like sinking in her seat, sinking like into a sunken place. Like, I can't believe that I am here in this moment, in this alternate reality. What is happening? I told her I didn't want to know anything, and now she's telling me everything. And the way that Lydia is talking, oh, this girl is still in love. You know everything about him. And she's ruining it all for Aaliyah. And Aaliyah is thinking at this point, it's about trust. And she tells Lydia, I don't know. This is a lot for me. I want to know that I don't have to always be looking over my shoulder and that I can't trust to have you around my husband. Like, that's just a lot. And she said, oh no, you don't have to worry about that. We are totally done. But yes, you have a lot to look forward to. It was a lot. And Aaliyah is now questioning whether she can trust either one of them. And I'm like, girl, I tried to tell you. You're stupid, but okay. We'll see. So then we immediately go to the date with Uche and Aaliyah. Aaliyah specifically told him, if I don't trust you, I won't marry you. And I said, well, bravo. She goes in and out of smart and stupid, like that. But I'm going to need you to stick with the smart. Leave those emotions at home. Leave them to the side. So then she confronted Uche about not giving her details about Lydia. And then she says, I can't even believe that you wanted to continue to date her in here, because if that's the case, then you should have just stayed with her. If that's the case, then I don't even know why y'all came on this show. Like, this is crazy. And then he says, no, I never said that I was going to continue to date her. Not ever. And then she said, and it's crazy that you would just come down on me, but then now to find out all this with Lydia, and she's told me all of this information about you guys, this is just too much. So then he is very manipulative, and he's a narcissist, so he knows a thing or two about mind control in a sense, and trying to rearrange her thoughts and to put her back on his side. And he tells her, like, he never considered starting over with Lydia. He doesn't want to give up on them. He loves her so much. He's trying to reassure her. And he says this is a lot for him. Imagine how he feels. Narcissist. But she says, imagine how you feel. I'm literally locked in like a box with her. We have living quarters. What do you mean how you feel? And I'm like, yes, smart moment. I told y'all she goes from smart to stupid. So then she goes right from that smart back to the stupid and says, but I'm 100% with you. I do still love you. I don't understand. I can't make this stuff up, but whatever. Getting out of their date because it was frustrating, we go over to Milton and Lydia. So of course we're going to go to them, because now that the cat is out of the box, Lydia has to tell Milton that she dated Uche in the past in the real world. But she lies to him and tells him that when she dated him in the pods on day one, she rejected the idea of moving forward with him, which we know is a total lie, but whatever. She said she's over Uche. Another lie she told. Then she said she has no lingering feelings, in which that, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is a lie. So she tells Milton that he is perfectly imperfect for her and that she is falling in love with him. At this point, Lydia is pleading her case. She is doing all of the talking. Milton is very quiet, very quiet. You can tell that he's processing this information. She says she doesn't want the past to affect them. She's literally filling in all of the dead air space because there's total silence. But then she says she wants to know his thoughts. So then Milton comments, I'm just listening. She said, yeah, but you don't have anything to worry about. I love you so much. I just had to tell you, Uche means nothing to me. I mean, tell me how you feel. I want to hear your thoughts. He says, I'm just listening. I'm just listening. His response to everything, I'm just listening. So then he asked to take a 5-minute break because he just needs to gather his thoughts. So he goes and takes a 5-minute break, and then she goes on her 5-minute break, and she goes and breaks down crying and wants somebody to console her, which, thank God, Aaliyah was in her smart moment. She was not the one consoling Lydia, because if she would have did that, you just need to slap a stupid sticker on her face. But it's actually Stacy is the one that's consoling Lydia, and she's telling her, calm down. You just laid some heavy information on him. Of course, he needs some time to process his thoughts. That's normal. Give him a second. Calm down. This is not something you should be reacting in this way. And I was thinking, thank God there's some woman in there with maturity. Stacy shows that she's mature more often than not. But Stacy came in and talk some sense into her. So then we go back to Milton and Lydia's date. He came back into the date. And at one point he started saying, you know what? I realized I'm only 24 and there's some emotional things that I still need to heal from. It sounds like he's saying that like getaway email. Like, you know what? Let's come to an end. But she sees it coming. And the Puerto Rican firecracker, she is not about to let this one off the leash. She's heard this speech before. So he's saying he honestly doesn't know how to feel. And she said, if you have doubts, ask Uche. Yeah, why did she say that? Why did she say that? And he said, whoa, really? Are you serious? She laughed, but then he couldn't help but to laugh. He said, oh, you must be crazy. Like, too soon, girl, too soon. And somehow that reeled him back in. Somehow, maybe he's attracted to crazy. The fact that she would bring up Uche in this moment. And he just let it slide, let it be. They laughed and then ended the date. And they're still together. Okay, so now we get to Izzy and Stacy. Izzy and Stacy, of course, their last day he proposed to her. So now we have the reveal. Same thing, doors open. They run out towards each other. He is happy. He's satisfied. He was like, oh my gosh, she is a bombshell. She's smoking hot. They have a lot of kisses in there. He gets on one knee, proposes to her. She's excited because she loves her ring. She says, this is a rock, baby. And he is shaking. And as mature as Stacy is, she tells him, calm down. You're shaking. Just breathe. Okay, we're good. We're here. And I thought that was cute. It calmed him down immediately in the moment. They sit over to the side and he's in amazement. He's like, wow, like you're freaking beautiful. I hit the jackpot. I can't wait for Mexico. In other words, he can't wait for them to be alone in a room by themselves. And you can tell, especially as suggestive as they be with each other in conversation, it was a good time for them. So their reveal went perfect. So let's X out of them and move right on over to Milton and Lydia. Somehow Milton had got bamboozled into getting to a proposal day with this girl. You can tell he's still unsure. He keeps saying, he's dressed up in a suit. He keeps saying marriage is forever. Marriage is forever. She said, yeah. And you know, it's going to be forever. And I love you. I love you so much. I don't ever want you to doubt that, because she's dressed up too. She knows this is supposed to be proposal day and she doesn't want him to back out. And so he gets on one knee and he says, are you going to be my Puerto Rican wife? And she says, yes. And he said, really? Is it that easy? And she says, yes. I said, now that was an interesting proposal, but she's fake excited. He is hesitant. He's smiling. He's like, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. And that is how their date ends. A proposal. Okay. Lydia knew how to reel him in. Then to end off the episode, we have a date set up for Uche and Aaliyah. He's excited about this next date. He is ready to propose. He walks into the room and he's like, he sees the journal there that he wrote a poem for her in, and it's on his side of the room. Okay. He says, Aaliyah, earth to Aaliyah, Aaliyah, are you there? Are you there? He's very confused. He sits down, like, where is she? And the producers come over the intercom and they said, unfortunately, Aaliyah has decided to not continue with the experiment. Boom. Yeah, it was like pie in the face, egg on his face, throw a tomato at him in the crowd. He was stuck. And Aaliyah obviously was back in her smart mindset. She got out of Dodge and was not dealing with that foolishness. She did not pass go, collect $200. She got straight up out of there. Yeah, that was my review, my take of Love is Blind, Season 5, Episodes 3 and 4. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Please like the video, like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I will be back for Episodes 5 and 6 review of Love is Blind, and I will have that up here shortly. See you guys soon.